Good evening, Iowa City, North Liberty, Tipton, everywhere. It's a very special show. We have two good friends of mine, good friends of you, Dr. Chase Ramey. Dr. Chase is our, let us say, the director. No, you are not the director, you're the associate.
Chief Human Resource Officer.
Chief, human, and how do I abbreviate this? You say it's C H
R
O. Okay.
CHRL.
And in the Iowa City School District.
Yes.
And on your left side is Kira Lindenboom.
Yes.
And Kira is the specialist of substitute service and A sub service, right?
Correct, yes.
It's a special night because we had Chase before in our. This is the first time we have you here.
Yes, it is.
And Chase, as a matter of fact, we began this year with a wonderful meeting with him on this program, where he laid down to us all the prospects and his vision about how we are going to run our school. Of course, under the direction of Dr. Merrily and his team of leadership that includes Chase. Mm-hmm. Now, after 1 year, well, it's not really 1 year, 9 months, right? Mm-hmm. About 9 months. And you look back to the first time we were together in this place, in this wonderful, well-equipped studio, in front of this audience that you see. What's your feeling when you reflect upon your experience this year? This was your first year in Iowa City.
It is, and it's been a successful year. I look back on it favorably. Of course, there's challenges for anyone in the first year of what they're doing, but it's a great community, and so there's lots of support. And Kira and the rest of the HR team, I told you at the end of the year how valuable they were, and they've proven that throughout the year. Any advancements or any good things that we've done as a team is a credit to Kira and the rest of the team, because I couldn't have asked for some better people to be surrounded by as we do the work that we do. We've had our challenges, of course, but I think that we've built upon the foundation that Jim Peterson, who was just amazing administrator in the district, built for us over the last decade.
He paved
the way.
Definitely.
You get to stand on tall shoulders sometimes, and I was lucky to be able to stand on Jim's, and still am. But
he's so tall too.
He is, right? That literally and figuratively, actually, kind of. But we've had some great successes, and we're looking forward to next year, because as you get your feet wet the first year, you have to kind of survey the landscape. Some folks probably wish I would have done more surveying rather than going straight ahead, but we did some neat things, and we're looking forward to doing more good work, not only for the students of the district, but we're the Human Resources Department, so we'd like to focus on our staff and making sure that they don't only like their jobs, but they like coming to do their jobs. That's important, that they feel comfortable, that they feel valued, and that they want to come to work every morning. Now we all have those days, those Mondays where you don't want to get out of bed, but we want them when they come in the doors to say, you know what, I really enjoy being here.
In your pocket, for the audience, our audience, you have a lot of plans for the next year.
Sure. I mean, we do.
Well,
we do.
Now, among the most urgent topics that people talk about is these changes that happened during this year, as far as a new system was implemented. The structure, the organization of your administrative body has been always developing new additions. And as well as, of course, the fact that maybe hiring new teachers, new leaders. Is there anything that can happen next year that is not expected, or you?
At this point, in terms of things that are, I mean, there's always a chance that there's a surprise, but we don't expect any that haven't already been put out there, both from our department, but from the broader organization as well. The district, through the leadership of the board and the superintendent, is involved in the visioning projects regarding the facilities planning. And so while we might see the district as a whole continue to develop and progress and mature, it shouldn't be anything that that we haven't been rather transparent about. We want the community to be involved, and the only way to do that is if you put out there what we're doing. And the superintendent and the board do a nice job of making sure that the community has an opportunity to be involved. Within HR, we're going to continue to look at ways we can refine some of the systems that we have in place, make what is available even more accessible to our employees. Individuals like Kira playing integral roles in that, and making sure that we can get information out to people as quick as possible, so they don't always have to wait and hear from me. Right? That's not the greatest customer service when I've got such a good team around me that are the experts in their areas, whether that's certified staff, classified staff, our substitutes, and our leaves, or our benefits. Those folks, as I said earlier, are the ones that make our system go. And so trying to make them more visible, trying to make them more accessible, so that as our employees and people from the outside need things, they know exactly who to go to, and so they can get top-notch service right away.
Well, we are going to come back to you.
Sure.
Because I remember we did talk about the hiring process and the staffing negotiation with the teacher association, as well as, of course, I think I raised the topic of minority hiring, and you had a wonderful plan to do that. So we'll come back to you, but now we'll get to you, one of your warriors.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
So Kira, tell us about yourself. Who are you? You are an Iowa City girl, right?
I am, yep. I grew up in Iowa City, born and raised, actually lived in the same house the whole time I grew up here. I went to Hoover Southeast City High. I'm the middle of three. I have an older and younger brother. Unfortunately, both of them have moved away right now. So my older brother is in Miami. My younger brother lives in Columbia, Missouri. And actually, my older brother is thankfully moving back this June. So I will have at least one back in town.
And you are newlywed, right?
I am, yes. Yep. Married Robert Lindenboom in October of 2011. He actually owns a store in Iowa City. It's a card and game store. It's called Linden Cards and Games.
Oh, that's very good. At least we have somebody in business, you
Yep.
know. Now, one of the really things that this district should be proud of is the substitute service.
Thank you.
I mean, it's running so smoothly and so beautifully. And I know this, a lot of our audience don't know what you are going to address now. If somebody has a degree, let us say in law or in agriculture or in language arts or literature, poetry, art, can this person sub now in your schools?
Yes, they can, in a couple different capacities, actually.
How?
If they have a bachelor's degree in any field and aren't interested in taking any additional coursework, they actually can sub as a paraeducator substitute or a secretarial substitute simply by applying. The other option is there is a course I know through Grantwood AEA, and I believe offered through other organizations as well. It's called a sub-authorization course. And by taking that course, it's about 2 weeks. It would allow someone to work as a substitute teacher in our junior highs and high schools.
Let's go to the first one, the paraeducators and the associates. Mm-hmm. They don't need to take this course, do they?
No, they don't.
Okay.
To be a para or secretarial substitute, someone would just need to have a high school degree and then just complete our application process, pass a background check, and then they'd be able to get started. So we do have some people who will actually start with that option while they're taking the sub-authorization course. And then they can start substitute teaching once they complete that course.
And as a matter of fact, it's a good paid. I mean, it's a good paying job.
Yeah, the substitute authorization would allow you to receive what a substitute teacher would make,
Right.
which for this school year it's $110 for full days and $58 for half days. And actually our paraeducator and secretarial substitutes make what a starting employee would make, which will vary based on the position.
So if we have some audience that would like to have an income, they can come and do the application and the background check, and automatically they will be called.
Yep.
Right? And you have now with the technology, I think, in the morning, the machine rings the phone and they say, do you accept this job today? Or if you don't accept it, dial or... I mean, it's so easy now.
Yes, yeah. There are actually several different ways that substitutes can access the available assignments. They can call into a 1-800 phone number. They can log online and check that way, or the system will actually occasionally call out to them as well. If that's something they're not interested, that actually is a service they can choose to turn off.
And if someone has a degree or license already as an educator, what are the prospects that this person will get or look forward to if they start substituting?
It allows for some flexibility if they're looking to make a little more money, but not necessarily have a rigid schedule that they need to be someplace every day. It allows them that opportunity. It gets them in the classroom. It allows them to be in the building. The principals get to know who they are.
That's probably a crucial point.
It definitely is very helpful, especially if you're interested in getting a position working for the school district. That's a way for principals to see how you perform in a classroom.
Extended interview.
Exactly. You're more than just a name on the list of the 100 applicants they're getting. You're actually a face that they know and someone who they've seen work.
Doctor, now let us talk about minority issues. Many districts in the Midwest, in particular, are facing trouble hiring minority staff, and this, of course, includes teachers. The problem lies mainly in retention of the people who get hired. I mean, you can find somebody that ready to work for 1 year, and if they have a better chance, they will leave you. What's in your mind, or what are you planning to do in order to keep these people?
I think there's a couple of factors that go into that, and they are both on the professional side and the personal side. And for all our employees, one of the things we really strive is to help our employees find that professional and that personal balance, and understand that, while this is your job, it's your career, it's important, it's not the only thing you have in your life. And so regardless of our employees' position, background, situation in life, we want to make sure that we provide them opportunities to enjoy those things that go on outside of their working day. And so making sure that our employees know that we appreciate and respect work-life balance, and we think that that's important. I think that goes across the board for anyone. On the professional side, in terms of retention, and again, for all of our employees, not just employees from our underrepresented groups, is providing professional development, providing mentoring programs, especially with our certified staff, to make sure that they believe they're continuing to get the coaching and the education they need to be successful. The education is interesting, and that if you look at it on the continuum with the other professions, even if you look at doctors, as you are lawyers, where I came from, very few times do you throw a doctor into the operating room on day one of his job and say, "Go at it."
Here it is. Yeah.
You don't throw a lawyer.
Here's the knife.
Right. You don't throw a lawyer into a courtroom on day one and say, "Okay, argue this motion." But our teachers, we have this expectation that on day one we give them 27 or 24 or 32 or 21 of our most precious assets, our children, and say, teach. And it's daunting, and it should be, because it's an important challenge, and it's something that is very it should be treated with very high respect in our society. And so we need to make sure that we're providing them the tools so they can grow as educators and be successful. That's a long-winded answer to say that we can't just put them out there and expect them to succeed. We need to surround them with support and make sure that they continue to have the questions they need answered, to continue to know that they are cared about as individuals so that they can make mistakes and continue to move forward and improve at their craft and improve at their profession. To touch on a different point, and maybe this is a question you were going to ask, when you talked about minority hiring and recruiting, unfortunately, we have been in a situation this year where our recruiting and our staffing has been rather flat. As many folks might know, the legislature has still not come back with allowable growth. We're still waiting on them. They broke from regular session last week.
2% and 4%.
Right, and so we're still out there, and we don't know exactly where it is. And it becomes difficult to staff a school when you don't know how many staff you're going to have. And we've got a great CFO and Craig, Dr. Hansel, who's also new this year, that he and I try to work together on, okay, if we have this much money, how many people do we have, and vice versa. But we've kind of taken this approach that right now we can't go out and do a lot of recruiting and hire new folks, which is disappointing because you always want to bring good folks into an organization. Now, the nice part for Iowa City is that we have a district filled with amazing teachers and staff members, and so we're in good shape. But it hasn't allowed us the opportunity to really expand some of the recruitment practices we spoke about at the beginning of the year because we've just faced some other challenges. And one of those challenges was making sure that we had positions for everybody that was already on board with the Iowa City Community School District. And it's very nice to be able to sit here and say to you that, going to next year, we did not have to lay off a single teacher. There are districts around the state. I think there was an article in the paper about how districts are having to make cuts because of their budget constraints. In Iowa City, every teacher that wanted to return for next year is being able to return because we don't face that same financial problem to that extent. Of course, we need to watch our dollars and cents, but it's nice from a staffing perspective. It could be better to bring on some new people, which still could happen as the summer unfolds. But right now, we're just very happy that we didn't have to make any cuts from our teaching ranks.
And you have very good connection with the Teachers Association.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, it's been a very collaborative effort. That's one of the things it's been, I should have mentioned off the top, it's been great, developing those relationships with our teachers union and all of our union.
But that's what your plan, I remember, that was one of your main priorities. When we, in our first program, talked about your vision, and you mentioned that this is priority for you, is to establish this kind of mutual respect and mutual dialogue and discourse with teachers.
And from my perspective, I think that's happened, and I'd hope that our union colleagues would say the same thing, that we've had a very open
So the negotiation, tell me about the negotiation, how it's going.
It's negotiations, so they go the same way negotiations always go. But again, it's a situation where
Can anybody negotiate with a lawyer? I mean, that's
that's a good way to put it.
Peterson was a math teacher.
Huh? I think is that right?
Yeah, was a math teacher, just like our cutoff.
Yes.
So this usually it's easy, but with a lawyer,
I'm very easy, very laid back in the way that we approach things.
I know that's probably why you left this profession to be an educator, right?
Yes. I like to smile too much to be a lawyer.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, I got a lot of comments about your smile. I thought people would be interested more in the meat of the topic in our show, but I got all these calls. Oh, it's a beautiful smile, and I said, well, you can say this, but I can. But that's important too. It's very important to have a welcoming face when you get hired. And now, let me ask you: if I sub for you, how long I can sub?
Someone can be on the substitute list for as long as they have a valid teaching license. There's no limit.
Do you have any limit, like for week, for the week, for the month, for?
At this time, we don't. Right now, if someone wanted to sub every day and was able to find a position every day, they would certainly be able to do so. Whether or not that'll change next year, especially with the changes that are happening with the Affordable Care Act, I'm not sure. That's something we're going to need to look into. But as of right now, you're able to sub every day. You're able to find a position. So.
And that's excellent. Now, let me ask you if somebody, have you ever considered something like professional training or professional development for substitute teacher?
Yes, we have. Actually, this summer, because all of the employees in the district have been going through an ALICE training, we are actually going to be doing that and expanding that to include our substitutes this summer as well. We're also going to be training them on the smart board, since pretty much all of our teachers have gone through that training as well. Usually we prefer to wait on our substitutes until we get all of our teachers trained, and that way we know most of the classrooms are probably going to be using that technology, or we know that it's a tool that they'll probably need, and so that's when we start training our subs on it.
Is there anything you want to talk to our audience about that I didn't ask you? Any topic, anything you want to inform them about?
Just that substituting is an opportunity that's always available. I mean, we're taking applications year-round. There's no time where we stop taking substitutes. So even now, if someone wanted to turn in an application, they'd be more than welcome to do so. And we can usually get those processed in 2 or 3 weeks so that they can be kind of up and running for those last few weeks of school.
How about the long-term sub? What's a long-term sub? What does it mean?
A long-term substitute is someone that's going to be filling in for an employee who's out on an extended absence. A lot of times those are maternity leave or other such absences like that. For substitute teachers, that actually does come with a pay bump. The long-term pay rate is actually $170 for the full days and $85 for the half days.
Oh, we can get the whole team here to sub for you. And we have a lot of retired teachers around here.
Most of those positions do tend to be filled by someone in the building. So the teacher that is going to be on the absence, or the building principal, are the ones who will actually usually secure those longer term
subs. Or sometimes the teacher herself or himself would say, oh, I would like this to sub for me.
Yeah, so if someone's interested in those long-term positions, I do recommend that they try and get out subbing in the buildings as much as they can, because that's how those principals and those teachers are going to know who they are and how they perform in the classroom, to be interested in talking to them about one of those long-term jobs.
That's not a bad money at all.
No, it's very good.
Absolutely. I mean, looking at the economy now, I mean, if you make 170, that's unbelievable. A day?
Yep.
So, doctor, tell me what I missed here and you want to inform the audience about.
Oh.
I know I missed a lot, but...
No, you didn't. You always do a nice job. We appreciate the opportunity to be here. To add on to what Kiara was saying, we're always looking for substitutes and for quality individuals to join the district. And don't feel bad if you're only available 1 day a week, or 1 day every other week, or even 1 day a month. We want good people to have the ability to influence our students, and if you can provide that, we'd love for you to join our team, even if it's in a substitute capacity, because we always have, not every day, but a lot of days we are always in need of subs, and so the more we can get in a pool of qualified applicants, the better for us. And I mean, in general, it's the end of the school year, and not only for me, but I think for everybody, it's been another successful year in Iowa City. You might have seen the article in the paper. Congratulations goes out to everyone in the district, specifically our 2 high schools that were both listed as 2 of the best high schools in the nation this morning. I mean, that's exciting news, right?
It's amazing.
And that trickles down to our entire organization, and that's about everybody in our group, and helping those 2 schools kind of stand there and represent the Iowa City Community School District. And it's just a testament to this community and what a role education plays, and what a role our community plays in building education to that foundation for what we do.
One of the styles of Kira that's really very specific is that you are very kind, but you're tough too. I mean, I see in your letters, if you keep saying no, 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 that's not good for you. I'm going to take your name out of my list. That's good, so.
That is
right.
good.
That's true. That is true.
She doesn't like doing that part. I'll have to say that. I won't make her take that. That usually comes from me, and I have to tell her, we're going to do this. So yeah, she's the nice one. I have to be kind
good
of the
cop,
mean one
bad
sometimes.
cop. You know, that's,
A little bit.
it works well. It was a delightful having you
Yes,
tonight.
it's great.
That
Thank you
is,
very much.
and good news about the two high
Yes.
schools. Thanks for the effort. Thanks for the good work, and keep
Thank you.
going. We are so hopeful with your team, with your leadership, and we welcome you anytime. Well, we would like to see you again, maybe in August, to
Whenever,
open
sure.
for the new
Sure.
school year.
Great.
Great.
Thank you very much. It has been a delight, and thanks to everybody here. Our show will be on Public Access TV, usually on Saturday at about 2:30 in the afternoon, and Monday 7:30. 7 or 7:30, Mike? 7 exactly. And then on the education channel, multiple times after the board meeting, and on YouTube, of course, tomorrow evening we'll be there.
Great.
Thanks to Mr. John Karhoff, the father of this, the guy who's behind the glass window, and Mike Peterson, who is the generator of the whole thing. And thank you
Thank
very
you.
much
Thank
for
you.
the honor and for being with us tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.